welcome back to my channel. I don't realise how pale this ring light makes me look. Oh my god. If you are new, then welcome. Don't forget to subscribe. Today I decided to, make up my face a little bit. Before I start today's video, I just wanted to quickly talk about a couple products that I have been sent by TEAMI. TEAMI sent me their tumbler, which has a cool little mouthpiece here, a little string, and it's really good for teas. It has a strainer in it, but I'm drinking a smoothie right now, so I don't have the strainer. And I have put their TEAMI green superfood blend into my smoothie right now. It tastes so good. Like, it has 16 superfoods in it, and it's just a really good kind of supplement to your everyday smoothies, and it tastes really good inside. I won't lie, guys. It's really nutritious. As I said, it has 16 superfoods in it. That includes things like kale, wheatgrass. Completely vegan, so if you're vegan, it's good for you. It's just a really good way to kind of get that extra nutrition into your daily life, especially if you're busy on placement, you're busy studying, you're busy doing your thing, and you don't feel like you have time to really get in all your fruit and veg. Then this is a really good kind of supplement to your normal diet, and it's really good to help kind of boost your immunity. As we know, superfoods are fantastic for your immunity, and in this time that is what we need. If you would like to purchase anything from TEAMI, you can use my code AGRACE20 for $20 off, a minimum spend of $40, or you can use my code AGRACE15 for 15% off of a minimum $29 spend. The links and everything will be in my description box down below, so you can just check that out. So on with the video. This video today is going to be about how to revise in nursing school as a nursing student, because I got asked by a lot of people how to do it. Because nursing is like practical and academic, you kind of have to change your revision style depending on what you're studying for, if that makes sense. I came up with a list. I hope it is useful. Everyone revises differently, everyone learns differently, so what works for me might not work for you, and vice versa. So some of the things on this list I do, some of them I don't do, but they're still effective. So it just all depends on what you like and what's effective for you. So first of all, I think the best thing, like the most kind of common sense thing to do, is to make a timetable. I find by knowing what I have to do throughout the week, or kind of knowing what time I have to do certain things throughout the week, it just helps me so much to organize my time. So like, for example, say if you have uni from like 10 till 3, but within that time you want to have a break, or within that time you want to do some reading, you want to do some revision, then you can just go for it. I think making sure you have all the kind of priorities out of the way first, and having them timetabled first, so like your lectures, if you have a job, timetabling when you're working, and then kind of having some time after that to be able to dedicate to studying. I think it depends as well, like if you have an exam coming up, then obviously timetable more time more frequently to be able to revise, if that makes any sense. If it's just normal revision, then you can kind of fit it in before your lecture, in between lectures, after lectures, at the weekend. But just having that on paper, or even in your phone, just some sort of timetable arrangement. I like to use post-it notes, all the notes up on my phone. Like, it doesn't even have to be pretty, just knowing what I need to do, writing down what I need to do, writing down the topics I need to cover, and kind of splitting them out throughout the week or weeks just helps so much. And it just kind of stops everything from being kind of kept in here. Like, it's on paper, you don't have to constantly be thinking, oh, what do I need to revise, have I missed this out? Like, you can just get it out on paper or on your phone, and it's just done, it's there. So definitely make a timetable. It just saves your life, and it stops you from missing out revising the things you don't want to revise, because a lot of us tend to leave the things we don't want to revise till last, but that is the worst thing to do, because if it comes up on the exam, then what are you going to do? If you haven't looked at it, what are you going to do? Also, another thing that helps me is reviewing my notes. I know some people don't find reading things back a good way to revise, especially from like textbooks and stuff, but if I read my lecture notes or rewrite them, that really helps me, especially if you're like testing yourself. So say for example, I don't know, you're revising anatomy and you've got a whole page about the different types of bones, right? And then you look at it, you read it, then you memorize it, and you write it out, and you compare how much you know. that is a really good way to revise. I've done that since like my GCSEs. It's so effective and it's a really good memory game for your brain. Or you can just read through your notes and pick out the most important parts, because I find sometimes when I'm in a lecture I write things, or I overwrite notes. I just write too much and it's just really irrelevant. So it can help to just read them and just filter out the rubbish and just kind of retain the important parts. I really don't know if I'm making sense, but in my head it makes sense. Notes are there for a reason. I know a lot of people like to write their notes and make them look pretty. Me, I don't care what my notes look like, as long as they've got the relevant content in them, then I'm fine. I can retain the information. But for some people, that's just how they want to do things. Other things that people find really useful are reading textbooks. I wouldn't really recommend that, because I feel like you're kind of just regurgitating information and it's just a bit like, it's boring as well. I think picking things out from a book and trying to memorize them can help, or using a book to write flashcards and then having someone test you, or you testing yourself, is an effective way to use a book. But literally just sitting there and just like reading it, you're not going to get anywhere with that. You're not going to retain that much information at all. So I probably advise against strictly just reading and using a textbook like that. Another way that I think is really useful for revising nursing is using YouTube, because with YouTube you can watch people demonstrating skills. So if you have an OSCE or some sort of skills exam or like a scenario exam, you can use YouTube where they demonstrate like how you do certain procedures. You can use YouTube for revision videos on anatomy and physiology, on pharmacology. Speed pharmacology is a good one for pharmacology revision. I used that for my second year exam and it paid off. YouTube is your best friend if you're a visual learner, or even like a auditory learner. Just listening to someone talking about the information can really help. There's so much academic and clinical content for nursing students on YouTube, so definitely have a browse. Another thing as well, like, use your friends. Me and my friends are always asking each other questions. We're always helping each other before an exam, helping each other make sure we're not missing out on certain pieces of information. And obviously everyone has their different strengths and weaknesses. So where you might really understand and know the whole procedure of how to insert an NG tube, you might not know how to give an IM injection, and your other friend might be an expert in IM injections, and then you can kind of exchange information and give your strengths to someone else and vice versa. So your friends will help you so much, and you can practice stuff on your friends. Like, you can go to the skills lab and do each other's manual blood pressure. To this day, I still cannot do manual blood pressure.
To this day!
I've only successfully been able to do that thing once. It's horrible, but just simple things like pretending to interact with patients or taking temperatures, doing OBS. You can do that on your friends or with your friends, and you can test each other. You can do that virtually as well. Me and my friends have been using Teams to revise and help each other with things. Literally, the world is your oyster. The internet is your oyster. Like, there's so many ways you can do that, and you can do that both for clinical stuff and academic stuff. This kind of applies to both exams and assignments. I think I'll probably make a separate video on assignments, because that's slightly different. Like, the way you prepare for an assignment or like an open book exam is so different. But for an exam, whether it's clinical or academic, you just have to find what works for you, because sometimes the way that you revised in GCSEs or A-levels doesn't always work the same way in uni, and it's different for every uni subject. But I feel like, I don't know, it just depends on your learning style. Some of the stuff that I carried from studying humanities in school still helps me do a science degree, so it just really depends. And I think I have quite a good memory as well. I'm quite good at retaining information when it first hits me, so that does help me quite a lot. And I'm definitely like a visual learner in terms of reading and watching things. That's how I retain information. So if you're like me, then I'm hoping that some of my learning styles helped. But your standard flashcards, books, YouTube, like, there's so many resources. There's so many online books as well. Like, you don't have to spend so much money buying books to help you revise. There's so many online journals, online articles. Use your lecturers to help you. Like, there's so much stuff you can use. But yeah, I hope that video helped for everyone who kind of wanted it. I know it was very vague. Like, there's not really that much you can do to revise. Like, it really just depends on what your learning style is, and I can't force that on you, but I can only give you some advice. So I hope that advice was useful. If it was, then let me know. Thank you for watching the video. If you liked it, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe and all of that. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.